Greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to the Book Wormhole. So this is yet another Never Have I Ever video, but with books because this is booktube. As I said in my previous video, I don't think I'm the first person to come up with this, but I don't otherwise know who to credit for this idea. So the rules are I'm supposed to state things I've never done before. In this case, I am doing popular or otherwise important authors I've never read before. And for this video, I chose 5 modern sci-fi authors I've either been intimidated to read or just haven't gotten around to reading yet, but all these authors I do plan on reading eventually. If you've read any of these before, put a finger down and let me know your results in the comments below. Also, if you have a favorite book by any of these authors, put it in the comments below so I have a better idea of where to start. Never have I ever read Andy Weir. Andy Weir is best known for writing The Martian. This is a book that's well loved by both heavy science fiction readers as well as people who don't usually like science fiction. And it's really interesting because there is a lot of science in Andy Weir's novels, but he has this very skilled way of relaying the story without estranging any readers who aren't as savvy with science. So not only do I want to read his work because his novel is so popular, but because I think it's so significant that his work is so accessible. Like, I know people who don't really like to read science fiction who absolutely love The Martian. Never have I ever read Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is another really well-loved author on science fiction booktube and just by sci-fi readers in general. His work definitely sounds right up my alley. I do really enjoy reading space opera, but the one thing that has kind of kept me from reading him is just his books are really big and I have so many books I need to read. I haven't really had the time to put aside to read a really long book. But as a space opera fan, I definitely want to give him a try in the future. Never have I ever read Jeff Vandermeer. This is an author that oddly enough I don't really hear about on booktube, which I'm kind of surprised because I do feel like he's really popular. Jeff Vandermeer is probably best known for writing really weird fiction, and for me, like, one of the many appeals of science fiction to me is when it gets weird and when it really plays with reality. I think it's such a palatable genre for just really playing with reality, and that is what I expect to find from Jeff Vandermeer. Never have I ever read N.K. Jemisin. I've heard her referred to as a sci-fi author, I've heard her referred to as a fantasy author, and both of these books I have heard either genre. So to me, it depends on who you ask. What I can assume though about these books is they're probably a hybrid of science fiction and fantasy. I do like reading science fantasy books, so that's what I expect from N.K. Jemisin. Never have I ever read Catherine Valente. This is an author that I will go to a bookstore or go to the library and pick a book off the shelf and read the synopsis and think, oh, that sounds really good. And then I add it to my TBR and I don't realize until later that it's a Catherine Valente novel. So I keep adding her work to my TBR without actually reading any of it, but every concept she comes up with just sounds really cool. And obviously I have 2 of her books, but I have more on my TBR by her. So I really want to read her work to see if her ideas are as good in execution as they sound like they are in the synopsis. So let me know how you did. Do you have any fingers left standing on your hand? Also, now it's your turn to play. You can either make your own video with this idea or in the comments below, leave me 1 to 5 authors that you've never read before and try to get me to put down a finger. Remember to support your local library and shop independent when you can, and until next time, please stay tuned.